Hi, welcome to the Haystack. My name is Jonathan. Welcome to my channel. This is a new channel. This channel is just gonna be all the stuff that I'm excited about, that I love. And that stuff is more than stuff to me. It's scriptures, geography, geology, genealogy. I love scripture, I love doctrine, I love ancient history. And I like piecing things together. I'm going to focus a lot of stuff on the last days as well, and how we can better prepare, and some things that we might expect. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. However, I don't speak on behalf of the church. And with all things, just I'm not saying anything definitively when it comes to my opinions and stuff, so just take it with a grain of salt. I'm gonna provide where I'm getting sources. I'll put it in the description, and that will give you guys a good idea of what I'm looking at and the resources that are available there for you to come and do your own searching. I don't say conclusion because I'm sure that no matter how all of us picture things, how things may go, that there's going to be things that are different than what we expect. So with that being said, I want to share some things that I was looking at earlier today. And I'm just walking around outside. We had a lot of snow, and it's just too warm inside the house, so I'm going to be out here. Some of the stuff I was looking at was I was watching a Wayne May video. Wayne May is a great researcher of the Book of Mormon. He similar to me, he's actually a convert. I'm not. I grew up in the church, but we both have a deep-rooted testimony of the Book of Mormon and a deep love for the geography of the Book of Mormon. So when I was about 11, I had the Living Scriptures audio Book of Mormon tapes that I listened to. I was grounded a lot, so I read scriptures, and I listened to tapes in my room, and grew a great love and interest in ancient history and scripture. And I had always pictured in my mind what the stuff in the Book of Mormon would look like. It wasn't until I was actually 11 that I was in a social studies class. We're studying Native American history. And I'm like, these patterns and this culture seems oddly similar to the stuff in the Book of Mormon. And I tried sharing it with my teacher, and he got all pissed off. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say pissed. He got upset, and he was just like, "Oh man, that's a cult. You and Brigham Young just made that whole thing up. It's all ludicrous." And I'm like, first of all, I was a snot kid, so I mean, he had reason to not like me, but not any reason to come after my beliefs and my religion and me being excited about history and social studies and cultures and trying to share my interest with him. So he that didn't end well, I guess. But regardless, I realized, hey, I think Native Americans are at least an offshoot of the people from the Book of Mormon. So I share that with like my family and other people, and they're like, yeah, it's in the introduction, it's in the title page, or one of those introductory pages. And I'm like, gosh, I'm an idiot. Like, I skipped over the introduction. So if it's your first time reading the Book of Mormon, read the introduction, please. Goodness, I think all of us, next time we go through, let's start and go through the title pages and the introduction. Get a good idea. anyways, from there, I just really enjoyed the Book of Mormon. I had thoughts in my head. I would look at maps and stuff like that. It wasn't until I was on my mission, where I served in Utah and Idaho, when I had actually ran into some other members of the church and people who had an interest in the geography. There I learned out about a lot of the other scholars, or not scholars, but people who have a devotion and love for the Book of Mormon and geography, and who have an interest in that. So I found like-minded people. And for me, geography, my testimony is not based on geography or any of that stuff, but it does make it so much more exciting, and it gives me a greater interest in these cultures. And the more and more I've taken greater interest in foreign cultures and just previous cultures before us, it's really helped me realize just how small the world it really is, and how united and like a family we really are. And I love it. It makes it so much easier to love other people even when they're stupid, because I'm stupid all the time. Say things get me in trouble. Usually it's sharing something about the Book of Mormon or the church in a work situation, or places I'm not supposed to by world standards. And sometimes I probably come off looking like a fool, and I get so excited that when I share stuff, it probably just comes out like I'm a babbling baboon, and people find it hard to follow, and maybe they go, dude, pull back on the reins a little bit, chill out. It's that's great. Yeah, we all love God. And I'm like, yeah, we love God. Let's do something about it. But I easily make a fool of myself. One of the things I hope you can gain from watching my channel, if you do watch my channel, this may be used just to put my wife to sleep, for her to listen to when she goes to bed. But I hope that you get a sense of my excitement for the gospel, for scriptures, for ancient history, for our ancestors, for the human family, and for our Father in heaven in Jesus Christ, and have a desire to share that with others. Because out of all things, I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, aside from being a father and being a missionary. And those desires still haven't gone away. I did have a desire to be Santa, to actually become a real Santa when I grew up. Build a cabin, make toys, be retired, and put on a thing every winter. But that's just because I think the story of Santa is cool, and I'd like to write my own story about that. Again, part of my interest in origins and history, there's some things that go off in a little bit of fantasy, but then there's also the things that are real, scriptures, the gospel, all of that. I do get off topic a lot, so please be patient with me. If you're the same way, maybe you'll like that. But part of me also doing this channel is to help me put my thoughts together, and to really help me in my study process, and to give me an avenue to appropriately share things. Because I'll use the Marco Polo app, and I'll share things with my brother, who I grew up in the church, but he's not active. But he and I can have great, wonderful civil discussions, and I could share things about the gospel with him that I feel passionate about. I'm kind of venting out to him, because people tend to get tired of hearing about the gospel, especially in areas like this where it's everywhere, but I was always jealous of places like Idaho and Utah where there's other saints, where there's temples everywhere, where they actually have seminary and institute handbooks and have seminary as a class instead of at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I was a seminary teacher in El Paso, Texas. I'm originally from Southern California. I don't think I did those kids any justice. I think I just rambled and they probably found it difficult. But I think there's a couple things that they found valuable, and that was my passion and excitement for these things. So that will be some of the stuff that you get to experience here. Please take everything with a grain of salt. If when I provide an idea of how something may have happened, I'm not putting that in stone. I'm not saying this is how it is, and I'm not wavering anywhere from that. I say that with the doctrine of the gospel. I say that with the Book of Mormon and with our prophet, but I don't. That's my anchor point, because when you go through history, all the history books, everything, they disagree so much, just like scriptures did. So to me, I'm like, well, scriptures, that's where the answers don't change. I'll stick with this, and I'll search through history alongside with that. And there's lots of channels that I'll help lead you to that I find interesting, ones that are with ancient civilizations and history that go over what the consensus and the proof and facts. There's things that I think that they don't highlight and don't shine light on and don't answer, and that's where I come in and say, hey, I'd like to learn more about this ancient religion there and how that formed and why it formed the way it did. So now I can finally get this out, share it with you guys, anyone who wants to listen. Discern, do your own studying, discern things, take it as if it's apocryphal. When I give some opinions and ideas, I was gonna touch on going through the Olmecs and the Adena, and I don't think I'll really have time for that. I think I'll break this off into a smaller introductory video, and then I'll pursue this after I get my son to take his afternoon nap and the other kids busy with something. And then I'll come back out and I'll do a part 2 video where I actually get into the nitty-gritty of the stuff I was studying this morning. So I apologize. That's part of my distraction, and we all have foibles. I'm not going to beat you up on yours. I beat myself up on mine enough, and if you tell me you don't like mine, that's fine. I get it. I wish we could all be nice and civil. But yeah, and then please share your ideas, your thoughts, your excitement, bear your testimony. Channels that I recommend, Christian Homestead does an excellent job of providing links and sources and going over the material. He shares his computer and shows where he's researching. That's something I'll be getting into when I get a little bit more time, and that way you can see the sources I'm looking at, you can see the maps and have an idea, and still have all the links and resources down below. Background on me, I've done a lot of different work. did law enforcement. I enjoyed that very much. Secret combinations are real. Even the small town ones. But that's fine. We'll let God prevail. Forgive and put it in the Lord's hands. And light disrupts darkness. So if you're treading in deep water, you're in good company. That's the way I see it. Obviously, always harder with families. But we got a nice piece of land where we can plant and do things that we need. My wife has a very comfortable career where she's extremely successful and loves what she does. She helps children with autism. And so she gets to do that, and I get to refine my patience while watching our 3, soon-to-be 4 kids. So I'll have the occasional interruption, but I really hope that you guys get an excitement for this. There's lots of history and things I want to go over. There's lots of people who touch on some things, and then I find supplemental information that is really exciting that supports evidences found by other channels and other people, which I think is significant. So Christian Homestead, Consider the Truth. Those are 2 channels which are great. Gospel Lessons. There's far more. So have a good one. Like and share if you enjoy.